Hi folks, welcome back to the allotment. We're in the greenhouse, which I'm pretty content to say is basically finished. You know, I'm very guilty of dragging projects on and on until every last little finishing touch is done. There are a few finishing touches, but for me now, this is functional. It's Saturday and middle of March. I'm feeling pretty behind on my sowing. I don't think I'm that far behind, but there are a few things that I really do want to get on the go today. So that's the main thing. But the question on my mind is, where am I going to put the seedlings? Obviously, I've got the hanging shelves in the poly tunnel, which is great for the hardy stuff. But I do need to decide what I'm going to do with this shelving unit for all of the seedlings. It is I'm so excited to start filling this up, but I'm still not quite sure where it's going to go. You can see sort of in the video I just did about all this staging, I started off with this at the back. It didn't work at all. So I've gone with it over here for now. And actually I'm thinking maybe I will leave it in this greenhouse. I think it looks quite nice. So I am feeling kind of eager to start filling this up, and obviously I've got to put more shelves in. I think there's 5 to go in here. Probably, I didn't actually show you yesterday just how this has all come together. I'm so pleased. One thing I do want to do is just fill in these edges with more shingle. I just need 1 or 2 bags, and I'm going to fill those up. And that's just going to be good for A, drainage, but B, it's going to stop this slab from potentially sliding this way a little bit, because there's not really anything holding it in attachment wise, but it's all so level. Look at this. This was like the moment of truth yesterday when I put the spirit level on the staging, and thankfully it's all like super square and level. I have tightened up the diagonals yesterday when I gave this a shake on video. It moved a lot more than I was expecting, and it's just that I've been a bit lazy, done a bit of it finger tight, but it just looks so good. You can see I've started filling it up. This is going to be all pots and seed trays on here. I realised I did say I might do seedlings on there, but I really don't think I'm going to need that space. But yeah, a lot more kind of filling this up to do. What else is there to do on the greenhouse? Well, there's a few bits. Obviously glazing is one, but as soon as I get those quotes through and order the glass, that is a very simple job. Very confident working with the glass now. The other thing though, the major thing, I need an auto vent up there, which I've ordered. I bought myself one, a little present a little while ago, eager to get it in. I was meant to bring it up today and I forgot. And I was also meant to bring up the glue for the gutters, and I forgot to do that as well. But the gutters will take a little bit of doing, a little bit of arranging some slabs around the ground to get them on. But I need to do them for this greenhouse as well, which is much more difficult. But this greenhouse, super easy. All the plastic little attachments I bought just fit in perfectly. So I just need to put in some end caps. This one's got an end cap, but the other one doesn't, and then get the water butts in. So you can see why I'm basically content saying this is finished. This is very, very annoying. Because this is an old recycled greenhouse, been sat around since the 80s, this I absolutely cannot get off. And I might end up cutting it off here, but these 2 screws are just completely and utterly fused. This is the auto vent that I'm going to remove. It's currently not got a cylinder in. It's not engaged or anything. I don't really like this one. So I've got the Bayless XL, which is fantastic. It's what I've got in the other greenhouse. And that one works perfectly. So a little bit of another upgrade. And then that's it. That is it. And I just love the idea being able to get probably compost bags at the back there. I've just got some chicken pellets down there for now. Compost bags down there, they can live down there. Little potting table I've got set up, as you can see. A little bit of space for seedlings or, bits and bobs, fertilizer and tools and string and that kind of stuff down here. Oh, look at this as well. You get little hooks as well for the end, which is just fantastic. Good for my camera bag, good for little tools and bits and bobs. It's just so good. I love the floor as well. I know it's just slabs, what's to love, but it just works so well, and it is so nice and level and square. And like I say, when I got those on and it was plumb, I was just like, yes. Still looks like a complete and utter mess in here, but one of the reasons I didn't want to put the shelving unit in here is that this is not square. This has never been square or level. These slabs were just chucked down as a bit of a last resort. This shelving unit feels like, if you overload it, it gets a bit precarious. So I think I might just leave this as overflow for now. If I do run out of space on those seed trays, still lots of sorting to do in here, but I spent ages going through all of this stuff yesterday, and it looks so much tidier than it did. It's a lot of just, stuff that never really finds a proper home because I don't have a shed. I do have a shed, but it's literally falling through. The floor is becoming non-existent day by day. So a lot of pots and stuff that just all slightly different sizes, So this is going to be sorted through. The stuff that I want to keep will go in the new kind of shiny greenhouse, and this will just be a bit of an overflow for now. If you don't know the configuration in here, the plan is on the other side, later on in the season, we grow in the ground in this greenhouse. I had it full of tomatoes last year and it worked pretty well apart from the spider mites. And that's another consideration. I'm worried that the pots that I've put in here might have spider mites in, so I'm kind of nervous to put those all in the new greenhouse, but I'm very happy. Let's get this shelf assembled properly, and then I think this greenhouse is just going to be absolutely mint. It'll be interesting to see whether or not I run out of space on this seedling shelf and end up using the other greenhouse or the polytunnel for seedlings, or if this is going to become kind of sustainable. And then what I might end up doing is turning the other greenhouse into just growing in the ground completely. We'll see how it goes. Good Lord, this thing is colossal. The scale of it is immense and I just cannot wait until it's full up with seedling trays. All I've got in here at the moment is the slightly more tender stuff. So this is my flowers. You can see a little bit more activity. The scabious looking really good. Some of the cosmos looking like maybe it's close to damping off. So I've just taken that cloche off. The wormwood at the back is popping, and these ones right at the back, that is the nasturtium, the peach melba. So that's very nice to see. Still waiting on the tagetes, nemesia and cowslip. I don't think the cowslip are going to germinate. I've been trying to grow those for years and they just do nothing. But, oh, no, I thought that was a little nemesia sprout, but maybe not. The other thing up here is the aubergines, and I did find my other Black Beauty seeds, so I'm going to sow those first, I think. But this is it for now. It's looking really nice. I've got a little collection of some stuff. I really don't want it to be too much of a dumping ground, but these super big kind of 12, 10 litre pots, they're probably just going to have to be stacked up down there. That is a load of chicken manure that might go back in the shed, I don't know. But everything on here still looking really tidy. A little bit more tidying needed to do in the greenhouse, but I just want to start sowing now. I've got these root trainers ready to go as well. I want to get some sweet peas on the go. The Steve's favourite Chelsea collection. Really want to give those a go because Grown Local kindly sent me those. And I've got another one of these self-watering, and I'm wondering if this might be quite good for the tomatoes actually. They're a thirstier crop, so that might be quite good. All I need to do when I put the seedlings in here is be a little bit careful about hot days because I've not got any auto vents installed. It's only March, so I think the chances of it getting completely roasting in here are pretty small, but it's still something that I just need to be a little bit mindful of, and I'll get this done in a few days probably, the auto vent, so it won't be too much bother. But when you've only got a roof vent and the door is closed and the louver vents are closed, it doesn't circulate the air quite right. So it's just something I'm going to have to be mindful of, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now the first thing I want to do is definitely the tomatoes, and I haven't even decided which varieties I'm doing this year. So that might take a little while because there's a lot, and over the years I keep making lists of all the varieties I should sow, and I almost never get around to actually ordering them, but I know that I got more than enough tomato varieties to keep me busy. I don't know why I'm still holding this very heavy bag of compost. But yes, tomatoes, and I'm going to do that aubergine as well, and then go from there. How many tomato varieties do you think is too many? Last year I had just a bit of space in the greenhouse to grow tomatoes. Did a few at home, and I don't tend to do them outside because I find that the water is just too much and it ends up, you've just got some mealy, overwatered tomatoes that aren't quite right. This year, I've got an entire polytunnel, a 20-foot length of polytunnel that I think is going to be mostly tomatoes. I think last year, I managed to cram about 10 into the greenhouse. I've got about 20 varieties on the table behind me. Let's have a little look. I'm actually very thankful because I have gone through this at some point, probably around Christmas, when I was doing a bit of a seed inventory. And actually, I've got rid of most of the ones that I didn't want to grow already, which is incredible, but we've got a lot. I'm not sure I'm going to do all of these, but I do want to. I do want to, and I don't think there's any repeats here. As you can see, lots of them have been sent by Grown Local, so I'm very eager to try them. There's a few reliables in here as well. Let's just go through. Tamande, I've grown that before. That's like a tasty, nice beefsteak one. Burlesque, no idea, absolutely no idea, but I want to give it a go. Bliss F1, no idea, but I want to give it a go. Crimson Crush, classic. They're kind of like a good all-rounder. Apparently grow outside quite well, quite blight resistant, so I might do some outside this year. I've got a little area in mind which might be quite nice for doing them. Black Opal, once again, no idea. Rose Crush, similar to Crimson Crush, I think a bit bigger. Audrey has very kindly sent another selection from Baker Creek. Very, very lovely gift from Audrey. Real Food Comes Dirty. Link in the description. Brad's Atomic. The Paul Robeson as well, which I've heard about. I've heard good things about this one. The Brad's Atomic Grape, slightly mixed opinion, but I just can't resist it this year because it just looks so cool. What have we got up here? The Black Moon. This was a favourite last year. I'm definitely doing this again. And last year I did one plant of lots of different varieties. This year I should try not to do that. So if there's any that I want to do a few of, it's Black Moon and probably the Roma as well for sourcing. I've got a few here from Chilton Seed. When I was doing my flower order recently, I couldn't resist the Rosella, which I think is meant to be a really, really nice small one. The Black Cherry, which is a classic, probably my favourite cherry that I've ever had. And in fact, just down here, this is like a little bit of vintage from the first year of the channel, the first year of allotmenting. I've still got this little seed parade packet. So by 2022, packed 2020, little bit of like vintage history there. But I'll probably just do the fresh seed, although I might sow all the old seed and just see what comes up. The Cherry Apero F1 Hybrid, I think this caught my eye because it's meant to have incredible yields, and there's a Chirola F1 on there as well. Once again, a bit of a vintage one, but that was a delicious cherry. The Orange Accordion, unfortunately, my overwintered Orange Accordion has succumbed to some kind of disease, some kind of mystery disease, so I might do this one again, I might not. It was quite cool, but I do have too many here, don't I? There's far too many. The Indigo Blue Chocolate, whoa, now this, probably my favourite tasting one last year, but it grew really weird, and I'm really, really excited to grow this again and see whether or not I just had a slightly dud seed or a dud plant, or whether or not it's a little bit unreliable. So I definitely want to do a few of those Indigo Blue Chocolate. It had such a deep flavour. It was our favourite for like bruschetta or eating fresh. It was absolutely wonderful. The Black Strawberry, I'm kind of in two minds about. This is amazing cropping. This one did so well for me last year. It looks stunning. Like, I've never seen one quite like it. And it's a bit of a weird one because although it wasn't my favourite in terms of kind of flavour and texture, it gave me so much joy. Having this one in the greenhouse, it was such a healthy plant. It was kind of early. It was always just full of tomatoes. And it's not like they went to waste. We still enjoyed them. A lot of them got sourced. So I'm kind of in two minds about doing this again. I think if I don't do it, I will really regret it. So I think I've got to do at least one, haven't I? We'll give it a go. And then a few more, just the last two. We've got the Black Russian, which is one I've heard people rave about for many years. And I don't think I've ever actually tried. And this one, which was the free seed from Baker Creek, which is a miniature tomato. Now, I think I'm going to do this because it looks cute, it looks fun. But I'm probably going to regret it. I can tell already. I hate it when you get tiny little crops that feel like they take more energy to harvest than you would ever actually get from eating them. I did the pequeño chilies last year as well, and exactly the same thing, just such a faff. But I do find tomatoes are probably going to be much easier to harvest than a chili. You know, a chili pot especially, you've got to kind of spin it round when it's in a packed greenhouse. Tomato vines, a little bit easier. You can just clip off the vine when it's kind of nearly ripe, I guess. So those are my tomato varieties. I think one of the things I've done in the past is focused a little bit too much on the beefsteak and the kind of salad tomatoes, which are much better eating fresh, you know, in the sandwiches, and we end up with too much of those, and they end up going into the sauce, and they're not the best for that. And what I've missed is the cherries. I find the cherries are best for fresh. So I'm going to have a little look through these and make some, I should probably cut some, shouldn't I? But we'll see. I'm going to get the seed trays out and decide as I plant, probably. So I had a little think, and I tell you what, it's so handy. These QR codes on the the labels from Growing Local. I wish all the seed companies did it. I have noticed, I think Premier Seeds Direct has started doing it as well. I think maybe they had a good idea from Ian over at Growing Local. I'm not sure. Maybe don't quote me on that. Don't sue me or anything. But this is just so good for quickly figuring out what seeds you're actually looking at when you've only got a name. But I've sorted them just roughly into different areas. So these are the cherries. I'm doing 4 cherries. Got up here the tamande. These are more of the beefsteak kind of, they're not like huge, but the Rose Crush looks really big, and the Black Russian there too. Then we've got more of the salad varieties, the Crimson Crush, the Paul Robeson, Brad's Atomic Grape, and I don't know, these are all kind of salad varieties, I guess, up here. The Black Strawberry, Indigo Blue Chocolate, the Black Moon, Crimson Crush, Paul Robeson, Brad's Atomic. That's it, maybe. I should cut those down. I'm going to do the Black Strawberry again. I'm going to do the Indigo Blue Chocolate. I'm definitely going to do Black Moon. Crimson Crush, you know what? I'm going to give that a miss. You've got to reject some, haven't you? Paul Robeson, that's a new one that I've got to do, and I feel the same way about Brad's Atomic. And then we've got the Spoon, which is kind of on the, it's only just getting in by the skin of its teeth, just because I want to give it a go. And then the Roma, which I'm going to do quite a few of. So I'm going to get set up, sow these, and I'm going to feel pretty happy about it, I reckon. Spoken lots about Silvergrow, obviously visited their factory, done whole videos on it, but one thing worth mentioning, especially if you're sowing those kind of medium strength seeds, like tomatoes aren't really fine, they don't really need for you to sieve or anything like that, they don't need super fine, but you will see you do get kind of clumpy bits, and I always like to break those up as I'm filling up my seed modules. Just by picking up and kind of rubbing my hands together like that, that will just nicely break up any of the little lumps that are formed like this. I said this might make me happy, and oh yes, this is sort of like chilies for me in a way. They just get you so excited for the season. Sowing tomatoes in an unheated greenhouse, 15th March. I got a lot of comments when I did this last year saying that I was a little bit, jumping the gun, what if we get a late frost? And I think tomatoes are a little bit hardier than a lot of people give them credit for. I know lots of people on our allotments who do very similar things. I think that so long as it doesn't get to proper, -2, -3 outside, then if these guys are in a sheltered greenhouse, especially if they've got one of those little plastic cloches on them as well, I think they should be okay. It's not ideal, you want them to be growing healthily around 10 degrees, similar to chili peppers, but I think they're a bit harder than people give them credit for sometimes. These are the ones where I've gone for kind of 4 cells, so slightly more of these. Got loads of Roma in the other one. And I've left one little thing down here just in case I've forgotten one or left a seed packet somewhere or done something silly. It has to be said, I lost a little bit of compost down the side just now, and the relief, it just reminded me of how much stuff used to grow up around the edges of this greenhouse, and it's one of those things that is just so frustrating. I had loads of bindweed that would come up and thistles too, so I am so excited to not have to deal with that anymore in this new greenhouse. And there's lots of other stuff that I could be sowing around now. The one thing that I really want to get is my peas. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff. However, I am absolutely starving. It's about 4 o'clock now and I've only had my breakfast, so I think I'm going to call it there for a day. I'm so excited to get these, to see these kind of popping into life. These guys are definitely going to get pride of place up here, and I'm going to go and have a quick look for a cloche as well, because I think that really does help with tomatoes. Here we go. I've only got these kind of, they're a bit cheapy kind of, I don't want to say they're rubbish, but they're not amazing. I do wonder if anyone's got any recommendations for kind of high quality cloches that will fit over a standard kind of gravel tray. Let me know in the comments, because it might be worth investing in some, especially for when you're chancing it around this time of year. These ones that come with the garland root trainers and those kind of easy success kits are quite good. Although I've put some massive labels, so it doesn't quite fit on there. But pride of place tomatoes, I'm so excited. It's slightly daunting though, having this entire thing out in front of me now, asking for seeds and asking me to start sowing things. So it's gonna put a bit of a kick up my arse, I think, to get moving. Like I say, next is the peas that I want to do in gutter and sweet peas in here. But like I said in the last video, there's kind of 2 phases. We've got the maintenance phase, the sowing phase, and you know, I'm just gonna keep plugging away and doing what I can. I've pretty much, unfortunately, become a bit of a weekend gardener, just because work is a lot at the moment. But we're gonna soldier on, we're gonna do what we can, and I'm sure it's gonna keep making me happy. Thank you ever so much for joining me. An extra special thank you to all of my Chili Pepper Tier patrons: Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Mel, Michael, Denise, Socks in the Garden, Andrew, and Sarah. Hopefully, I'll see you again next time.